If I wanted to go from employee or freelancer to entrepreneur in 2025, here's what I'd do. Forget what you think you know about setting goals. Today, I'm going to bring you through a 5-step process that I've personally used to continuously achieve goals that have been beyond what I can conceive at any point in time, and a process that has helped me and my team scale a business to 8 figures within the last 2 years. What if I told you that you're not achieving your desired outcome because of 2 things? Number 1, you're not setting a clear enough goal. And number 2, that goal that you're setting is actually not big enough. You're not setting yourself enough of a challenge to actually drive towards and change your frame of mind. Have you ever heard of Ernest Shackleton? So he was the first explorer to actually reach the South Pole, and as he was advertising for crew for this ship, he came out with a very creative advertisement, and it effectively was building the challenge that it was going to be to achieve this, and actually maybe showing that they might not actually even achieve their goal, that you might die on this endeavor, but actually it's going to be fun and it's going to be huge. So he rounded a crew and created this expedition that he wasn't even sure he was going to live to be able to achieve, but he knew that actually if he was going to be able to do this, it was going to be something that nobody will have ever achieved before. He went in with the mindset of knowing that this was such a huge task that the chances of death were massive, but he did it anyway because he believed if he set the mindset in that way, where you're going towards such a big goal, if you're going to achieve it, it's going to take a huge effort. Everybody on his crew actually turned out to survive. So they reached the South Pole. They were first people to ever achieve that, and everybody survived because they went in with the mindset of, we are going to do something huge. We know that it's going to be an incredible task, but actually if we're going to do it and we're going to make it, we need to be willing to risk everything, and we need to work towards that one goal, the goal that we're trying to achieve. He did was he set a stretch goal. And so for you, how do you use this same mentality, this same stretch goal mentality to actually achieve what you're trying to achieve? What he did was he set such a massive goal and he publicly displayed this, showing to everybody that this is what he was trying to achieve, also admitting to the point that this may end in failure. A lot of people are afraid of failure when they're coming to try and achieve such a large goal. But what he did was he made it so public and so clear that this is something that's beyond what anybody believes is possible, and also may end in failure. But actually, do you know what? It's going to be incredible. And so for anybody creating a stretch goal, if you can take that same mentality, something that says, okay, if you know now that you're setting a goal that you want to achieve 10K in revenue a month for yourself in your agency, or how do I achieve 1 million? Something that's so big that you're not sure how you can do it yet. The same way as Ernest Shackleton. He wasn't sure how he was going to do it, but it didn't matter. He just set such a huge goal and then got everybody bought into that vision. He believed it, his crew believed it, everybody else came to believe that they were going to do it. The people then who actually didn't believe it, it didn't matter. It matters to the people who are actually trying to achieve the goal, whether you believe in it yourself. And that will then carry you through to figuring out some sort of way of actually achieving it. You're not going to go and explore the South Pole. What I'm going to show you next, those beginning steps, the steps that really help you get clear of what you're trying to achieve and setting you on the right path. I think there's too much of a fixation on work-life balance and actually not focusing on something like life design, actually designing your life to be the way that you want it to be. And when you consider work-life balance, people are always focused on, it's like, oh, well, I want to spend 8 hours here and 3 hours there and 4 hours there and 6 hours here, and I want to spend time with my kids and blah, blah, blah. The problem with this is you're actually just trying to fit all this into a schedule. And the reality is, if you're actually trying to achieve something, it's in those small blasts of work. It's in that time when you actually just clear your mind and spend 4 hours working on something, and all of a sudden you've done more work in that 4 hours than you've done in 3 weeks on a project. And I think that's the way we need to think about spending your time and how to focus on that life design. It's saying, okay, don't focus on scheduling time and putting things into blocks. Actually focus on what are the outcomes? What am I trying to achieve, and how to actually within that journey is the enjoyable bit. You need to really understand what's the cost of that life. How much do I need to earn to sustain that life for now and in the long run? Because if you're financially focused on making ends meet, you won't be able to really think. You're always going to be pulled back into thinking about the money side rather than thinking about the life design side. In reality, you need to understand this number so that then you can be financially free. And financially free meaning what financial freedom is to you. Whatever that number is, anything above that point is financial freedom. Step 2, we're going to focus on our why. What's our core motivation here? What are we actually trying to achieve and why are we doing it? Now, when we think about our why, again, this can be very often pulled from what we see others believing or what we see others wanting. And then we build our frame of mind and we say, okay, here's why I want that. We convince ourselves. We say, okay, I want this because, and you really believe it. You believe that you're coming to this conclusion yourself, when often you're actually just seeing somebody else wanting it and you're convincing yourself then and creating that why. What we're trying to do here is actually come back to your core why. Why do you really want to achieve the goals and the outcomes that you've set out in step 1? In that life design, what's driving you through it? For me, I want to focus on actually building a life where I can have creativity in my life and have freedom to explore that creativity and spend time focused on just creating and doing and seeing those ideas come to life in the real world. Now with that why, that then frames what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to achieve it. For you, that might be different. And what you really need to do is actually just zoom back out, looking at step 1, looking at all of the points that you fill your ideal day and really understand what is it about those tasks and those activities within your day that will actually help you achieve your why. Now that you've looked at your ideal day and understand the why of each of those elements, what would you change? Now that you've reframed it and actually considered why, what's driving you and why you want to do those things, what would you actually change about that ideal day now? I'd go back to step 1 and actually say, okay, here's a rewrite. This is what my ideal day would look like, knowing that I'm driven by the why. Now that we've understood the why and the what we're trying to fill our day with, now we actually need to create that vision, that goal. Where are we trying to go to and what's that goal that we can set that's actually going to bring us along that journey where we're enjoying? Because that's step 1 of actually creating that ideal day. That's the journey. That ideal day is going to get you towards that you're setting. So we need to say to ourselves, okay, what's the goal that we need to set that's actually going to lead us along the journey of having those ideal days every day? Step 3 is setting a destination that creates the journey. Imagine this. You're going on a road trip and you're driving. Do you actually want to get to the destination, or is it about the journey and the roads that you're on that is the most enjoyable bit? If you're taking a road trip, you're going down Route 66, not to get to where the destination is, but because of the fact that you're on the journey of Route 66. The same thing is true in life. If you want to create a good journey, you want to set a destination that's actually going to lead you along the route that you want to be on. 3 is about setting a goal that is going to allow us to have weeks and months full of those ideal days. So what we're trying to do here is craft a life designed around those ideal days and creating a destination, a goal that's actually going to allow us to have those days more often. To set this goal, we now have to look at our ideal days. Let's say I'm a video editor and I just really enjoy working on complex cinematic videos. That's what I want to fill my day with. Okay, now set a goal that's going to help you achieve filling your days with that work. So what's that goal for you? What can you set as a marker to work towards and actually set that destination to enjoy the journey along the way? Step 4 is turning that goal into a stretch goal. You've defined the journey and what you want your journey to look like. Now you want to set that stretch goal. Something that's so far in the distance that you're not really sure how you're going to achieve it yet. But you know by staying true to what you want to achieve and staying true to the journey that you want to be on, you can actually figure it out along the way and you can actually work towards that stretch goal. Setting that stretch goal brings you along a journey that now takes you much further to achieve. And it sustains the amount of time that you actually want to fill your ideal days with. Imagine you set yourself a journey on a road where you want to go for 50 miles because you believe that that's as far as you can go. What about if you set that to 1,000? setting it still on that same map, you can create a longer journey for the ideal days that you want to be doing. With this stretch goal, what you want to be able to have this in your mind that you can continue to repeat. You repeat it to you repeat it to your friends in your circle and your family. This is what I am going to achieve. So have that concise. I am going to be a top 3 competitor in the industry within 3 years. That is a one-line sentence that you can actually just continue to repeat to yourself every single time that you come up to a decision that needs to be made, or still continuing to set your direction as you're going through your ideal days and focusing on the work that you want to do. Sometimes you're going to need the motivation and you're going to need the direction to keep pulling you along. And so having this one-line sentence actually just continues to make it clear in your mind and everybody else's mind around you of what you're going to achieve and how you're going to achieve it. Step number 5 is reflecting and committing to that sentence. Now that you've really clarified and defined in your mind, what are you going to achieve? What is that stretch goal? You need to believe it. You really need to buy into what you're saying. Effectively, what you want this to be is almost a chant. It's something that is there and you are going to say it to yourself every day. You're going to say it in every conversation that you're having around that goal. If you or your team are working towards something, this is that one thing that you're always going to come back to, and that's going to guide the direction of where you're trying to go. So you need to commit to this. You need to believe it, you need to feel it. Bring it all the way back. So bring it back and understanding that sentence that you've created. What does it really mean and how is it going to drive you? Think about how you're going to use this in your daily life going forward as that stretch goal to really help you achieve those days that you want to achieve within your next year. So this is what I ask of you. So leave a comment and subscribe if you found these 5 tips helpful.